Hi, thank you for clicking on the video, and I hope everyone is doing really well. So I received a request to watch a particular YouTuber's videos. This is a YouTuber that I have never heard of before. Her name is Tabitha Farrar. Thank you to the commenter who suggested checking out this channel. From the looks of it, it looks like she talks about what I talk about, eating disorder recovery. Scrolling through her videos, a bunch of titles caught my eye, but I think the one that I'm going to watch today is entitled How to Stop Kids Developing ED. I am not a parent. Something that does hit me in the back of my mind about having kids is passing on my unhealthy relationship with food. I'm afraid that relapse happens. I would not want my kids to see that and recreate the same behaviors and go down the same road as me. I would not wish that on anyone's kids or anyone in general. My background, my childhood was full of food fear and diet culture and negative talk around my body, about bodies in general, about food, about what you should and shouldn't eat. This is good, this is bad. You're eating too much, you need to lose weight. These were things that I heard. No parent wants their kid to have an eating disorder. No parent thinks their kid is going to develop an eating disorder. So I think they don't think that they need help to prevent it. They're like, well, that's not going to happen. You don't know. It starts very young, and it's important to learn how to speak around and about food from a very young age of your children. So that is why I picked this one. Let's find out how to stop kids from developing eating disorders, because if we can prevent it, we can stop it.
Hi. All right, here's a question from Nova. Nova says, could you do a video on how to help protect our kids who probably have the eating disorder gene from developing an eating disorder? My kids are still little and are beautiful natural eaters, intuitive or whatever dumb label that means. But I know because of myself and family history, more than likely one or both has that gene. Especially worried for my daughter because weight is pushed on women so much more. I know I model myself, get recovered, etc. But is there anything else? Would you recommend having discussions when they are older about our genetics and to steer clear of diet culture? Should I be super upfront about it? I don't want to be a pushy either because that might backfire. Just wanting to get ahead of this before they're vulnerable teens. It's a good question. I don't think that there's any right answer to it though. I think that it's really smart to be aware and to be thinking about this. But I guess different people in different families will have different relationships with one another, and you've just got to do whatever you think is the best course of action on your part.
Hypothetically, you know your kids better than anybody else. I think in general, it's important to develop a really healthy relationship with your kids and a clear, open line of communication so that if your child, for whatever reason, does start to struggle with anything, they do not feel judged or shamed or embarrassed to be able to come to you, the parent, and tell, like, hey, I am struggling with this, or I'm questioning this, or I don't like how I look. You want to develop that from a young age and continue to, a consistent open line of communication throughout their entire life. Now, specifically talking about eating, you have to start at a very young age undermining diet culture, modeling healthy eating habits, healthy movement, reiterating that to your children. There needs to be an emphasis on encouraging intuitive eating, neutrality around food, the basics. I have heard parents my own age saying to their very young children things that my parents used to say to me that were ingrained into me at that young of age and still to this day affect me. That record that plays in my head of what my parents said to me, I still have to consciously turn it off. You have to be careful how you phrase things. You do. You have to be careful what you say. Children, small children especially, are sponges and they absorb it. I think it's the first 5 to 6 years of a child's life literally determines how they're going to be as adults. long term. They're overhearing negative talk, they're seeing negative behavior, they're absorbing it, and they are basically ingraining that into their own personality and identity.
To steer your children away from energy deficit. If your children can stay away from energy deficit, then they will not, if they do have the eating disorder genetics, then it won't kick off. So that really is the goal.
There is nothing wrong in teaching your children about nutrition, starting at whatever young age they seem to be able to grasp the concept. Keep it basic at first, and then over time, increase the information. Kids are not dumb, so teach them. Parents should be their kids' first teacher, not their first bully.
And probably within your different children, or among your different children, then the approach probably might be slightly different as well. One thing that I think is really important is educating other family members so that they don't make stupid comments,
It was more than just my parents saying things. It was family members. It was friends. Looking back, it was almost like I couldn't go anywhere without someone saying something negative about my body or the way I ate. As parents, it's more than just what can you do personally? How can you help the people also in your life and your kids' life to be the same example that you are? You cannot control other people, and you can't control, what your kids decide to do later on in life. If you truly do all you can do and your kid still develops an eating disorder, it is also important to learn how to support and encourage and back up your kid when they are going through an eating disorder, and eventually, fingers crossed, when they choose recovery. How do you be that constant pillar of support? You could do it all right, and your kids still could make bad choices. Everyone's an individual. Your kids, in fact, you cannot program your kids to be what you want them to be. They're going to make their own decisions. How do you support them and encourage them and make them feel like they're not alone and they have you through that entire process?
Because those stupid comments can have an impact, and they can be just that, stupid, meaningless comments. And especially when, somebody's quite young and, you'll be at a family dinner and kids will be, stuffing their faces full of ice cream, and somebody will make a stupid comment, won't they? Such as, oh, you won't be able to eat like that when you're 15, you won't be able to eat like that when you're an adult, you're gaining too much weight. Like, just those stupid comments. I think that the more that you can educate family members and people that hang around your kids, the adults that hang around, then the better.
For some reason, kids see adult as expert. They see adult as authority. They see adult as someone to listen to. So when those comments are coming from an adult, it settles in differently. It still stings when peers say it, little kids say it, but for some reason, our subconscious at those young ages really take to heart what adults say.
And in terms of your little girl, one thing I think is really important is understanding, setting yourself up for understanding, setting your immediate family members up for understanding as well, that it is bloody normal and natural for a body, a female human body, to gain weight in preparation for puberty, because that is the hot time.
Oh my God. Thank you for saying that. I know some people my own age who have kids who are in that 9 to 12 range where they are, reaching teenage years, and puberty is just around the corner for their little girls. And these parents have said, I think my kids need to lose weight. No, your little girls, your daughters need that. They need that weight because their body is literally preparing to go through a traumatic change. So if you were to try and put them on a diet at that point, you're adding trauma to the trauma. Not saying puberty is trauma. Body's going to go through something, and you're literally doing something that could deter that really crucial change. You're not, it's so frustrating. And I want to slap these people and be like, no, your child does not need to go on a diet. What you need to do is love them because they're about to go through something that they do not understand. And it's going to be hard. And you're trying to make it harder on them. Like, how dare you? So frustrating.
In terms of eating disorder development, and I see it as the hot time because that's just what happens. Our bodies gain weight in preparation to start getting ready to for the menstrual cycle, and then people make comments and like, oh, you know, I see you're gaining weight now, aren't you? Those sort of comments. And that is why I believe that so many people do have the onset of eating disorders around puberty. Nothing to do really with puberty and everything to do with their bodies gaining weight in preparation for puberty and stupid people making stupid comments.
I agree wholeheartedly. As someone who lost a significant amount of weight at the ripe old age of 13, 14, and it was because of the comments, people making comments about how much weight I'd gained and how fat I was and all this stuff. And guess what? When you get your period, it makes you feel bloated, because you are bloated, makes you feel very uncomfortable in your own skin. It makes you feel like crap, especially those first few years of having your period. So on top of that, and then all the comments, oh, the bullying in general, but just like bullying about your body, yeah, it pushed me to lose weight. I mean, I had been attempting to lose weight my entire life up until that point. My first major weight loss happened right when I started puberty. And guess what? It turned off my hormone production and my ability to finish and complete puberty. I did not graduate from puberty until much later in life because I literally lost the ability to make certain hormones. Okay? Like, this is what happens when you make your kids go on a diet at crucial points in their life. You fuck them up for life.
So, of course, I think that if you're asking this question, you probably do want to actually talk this through with kids, don't you? I think that you're thinking about that.
I read articles, I watch videos where it's like, how do I talk to my kids about this? How do I stop my kids from this? How? Just talk to them. Why are parents so scared to speak to their kids? Why were mine so scared to speak to me? Like, what are they afraid of? What conversation are they afraid to have with their children? Why are we afraid to teach our kids to be healthy and to love themselves? Why is that so scary? That should be the number one thing we want our kids to develop, is a confidence within themselves, so that when they do hear negative things, they literally can say, that's wrong. I am confident. I love myself. I can stand up for myself. It can go in one ear and out the other. That's what we should be teaching our kids. But instead, we're like putting our kids down. And that's so wrong. This lady seems like a very nice, sweet lady. So thank you to the person who commented that I should check out her videos. There are a couple of other ones on here that caught my eye, so I might be putting out some more videos watching her videos. So I'm going to end it here. Thank you again. And of course, if you have YouTubers or videos that you think would interest me, or that you want to see my take and review of what they have to say, feel free to comment that below. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you did not enjoy it, you can give it a thumbs down. That is cool too. I don't mind. If you are not subscribed already, please consider subscribing and be sure to hit the notification bell to stay notified of all future uploads. If you have any comments, questions, video suggestions, anything at all, feel free to leave that in the comment section below. Be sure to go follow me over on Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye!